Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to everyone. Hope you're all having a lovely Thursday. On behalf of FutureSkills Prime and OpenWeaver, I welcome you all to this Prime Career Mantra exclusive webinar series on generative AI. I am Shmita Ramkumar and I am the Director for Community and Partnerships with OpenWeaver. OpenWeaver is a SaaS technology company and an application development platform supporting over 1 million developers worldwide build their ideas faster by reusing open source software. Our vision in very simple terms is to improve the way applications are built. And we are very proud and excited to be collaborating with FutureSkills Prime for this webinar series. FutureSkills Prime, India's technology skilling hub, is a joint initiative by Nasscom and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, to enable digital skilling at scale. It aims to make India the digital talent nation by democratizing learning. So coming to our theme for today's webinar, generative AI, it has been a buzzword for a while now, something that all of us have been hearing about and reading about in the news, especially over the last month and a half. So it has found its applications across almost all sectors, from entertainment industry to the healthcare industry, education, almost all other sectors. Especially with super friendly and relevant tools like ChatGPT, I think it has touched all our lives and in a very seamless way. We don't even realize it sometimes. So this webinar series on generative AI is designed to provide you with a comprehensive overview on this topic. And more importantly, we're going to be building some very cool and some very awesome generative AI applications in just 30 minutes through each of these webinars. So our first webinar for this series was conducted last week, where in 30 minutes, we built a ChatGPT application. And then in today's webinar series, we are going to be building a very interesting voice to image application with a really nice and a very cool outcome that you will see in just a bit. So following today's series, we also have the last one, which is going to be next week, where we will build responsibly and see how we can detect deepfake. So coming back to today's session on voice to image application, for this, I'd like to welcome our trainer and mentor for today's session, Pooja Agarwal, who is a senior developer advocate with OpenWeaver and is a technology enthusiast herself, especially when it comes to AI and ML. So thank you, Pooja, for joining us and welcome. I hand this over to you to take it forward.
Thank you, Shmita. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session on generating images through your voice. This is going to be, I guess, additional, key, or it will be an additional feather that you can add on your generative AI series, learning with this series. So I welcome you all on this exclusive webinar series part 2, where we are talking about Dell AE voice to image generation. So let's get started with the day's agenda. And even before I get started with the day's agenda, I would quickly want to get an insight from you or your understanding of the interesting OpenAI model or tools that you may have used by now. So just mark whatever tools you have either, you are interested in learning about. If you are following us from the last session, then you have already, we had a great overlook on ChatGPT. But today there are other tools models that we are going to discuss. So let's see what you guys are looking forward to learning today. Can we have the results, please? Okay, so yeah, most of our audience wants to learn about all of these. And yes, the interesting part is today we will discuss Dell AE, ChatGPT, and Whisper. So that starts with the introduction of today's session. We will actually discuss all these three in detail and also talk about how these OpenAI models have influenced the way the generative AI technology will influence our future, our well-being. So With this, we will also go into the demo of the kit quickly. I would like to showcase that exactly what you will be able to build around today. So to be able to check out our solution source, this is the solution source that you will be using today. I will help you first with a demo, a very interesting demo, showcasing you that whatever you can imagine is what you can recreate with the Delay 2 model that has been used today for generating interesting artistic digital images. So for that, first of all, I will use this microphone to record my voice. The same would be converted into text, and the text will act as a prompt, a summarized prompt that will pass into my Delay model. Okay, so I'll give you it a very basic prompt or an audio. Give me an image of a dog listening to music on the moon in high definition. So I'll stop the recording, submit it to my model, and wait for my model to showcase the results. So the interesting part of generative AI is something that even with the same information that you feed into the model, you will get every time a original different content that is generated through it. So if you see here, this is what an image of a dog on the moon is created, and somehow this lightning is somehow showcasing, I don't know what kind of music, but then that's what our interesting artistic form of image generation is happening with Delay or the AI model that we'll work on today. So not just this, we want to go further into the details, but before we go ahead and get into the details, I would like you all to also set this kit onto your systems. So for that, please follow alongside and click on the link that is provided in the chat to you. Please click on the link that is being provided to you in the chat. This will take you to this community platform, the community page, where you would see that this page is specifically created for you. And this has this amazing 10-minute video tutorial that you can use as a refresher, even post the session, to understand the code that we have discussed and also understand how you can set this kit onto your systems. So this is the refresher video that is available. Also, this under this hands-on learning is where you can go ahead and set up the kit. So I'll show you step by step. I hope you all are geared up and are also following alongside with me onto your laptops. So before I proceed, I'll just take a quick minute to share my entire screen with you guys. Okay, so under the hands-on learning session, here you will be able to find this Candy one-click kit. Go ahead and click on this. This takes you to the kit page. So this is exactly the same that we had followed also in the last session to set up the kit. Do let me know in case you have any doubts in setting up the kit. So you see that under the deployment information, the instructions are listed as to how you can set up the kit for both your Windows and for other operating systems. So for now, I'm working with the Windows operating system. I'll help set it up on the Windows operating system. Click on this one-click installer. This will download a zip file. Just say show in folder. So this gets automatically into your downloads folder. Here you just say extract all. As you extract the contents of the folder, you will find a batch file. Go ahead and double click this batch file. Say more info, run anyway. So with this, if you see here, your kit setup has started. What all is getting set up? So your entire dependency, Python, your Visual C++, everything that is required will automatically start getting set up for you. So let this setup happen. And in the meanwhile, we will discuss the concepts for today's session. You can just let the setup happen, minimize the screen if you would like, and continue watching the session. So we will talk about generative AI briefly as to how it has influenced the way we, generate content, how we work around, our businesses of designing, marketing, creating art these days. In fact, within the last 3 months itself, there has been great influence on the way natural language has been used. Our English language or other languages have been used to simply instruct an AI tool, a generative AI tool, and get the expected responses. So you can start writing lyrics. You can have your entire SEO plan designed, your creatives, in fact, planned through the generative AI, the way in which the different images can be put together. In fact, whatever you can think, generative AI has helped you either get a text response to it, image response to it, in fact, a video response to it. So that is what has been greatly influenced. And if we also try to note, other than ChatGPT, which is based on our GPT-3, in fact, the GPT-4, which was recently launched by OpenAI as interesting transformer model, we have other competitive, chatbots like Bard, and then this is based on Lambda model, which is another way in which your generative AI models work, where there are two neural networks competing with one another over a zero-shot response. So this zero-shot response is, these tools are interestingly powerful that whatever data they are trained on, that they'll give a response for it. But with generative AI, they are able to give you output for, let's say, for any query or any sort of information required, which has not even been trained on the model. So that's how generative AI or this power of AI has influenced coming things in the future. And already we are seeing the change going through. So today we will talk about the other aspect of the generative AI tool, wherein we are saying that you have tools like Stable Diffusion, MidJourney, and Delay. With this, I will now quickly also want to understand what tools have you already worked on imaging, on creating images using these AI models. Can we have that polling question, please? So it would be interesting to note what you guys have already worked around with till now. And if not, we are already giving you your hands-on experience on not only development, but using this Delay tool, E2 today. So let's see how many of you have used any or maximized their usage of, say, MidJourney or Stable Diffusion. Okay, so we have a large audience who have still not experimented. So with this, I think it will be a very amazing thing that you would be able to, build up a solution of your own, say, provide a solution of your own with us today here, which is capable enough to generate images using audio. So how is this model generating this amazing digital art form based on your voice? So first model is Whisper that we are using. From Whisper, we are capturing it's a image, it's a voice recognition model. It is we are inputting all the audio in the ChatGPT API, and the ChatGPT API with the text prompt is summarizing the text. So within the Whisper transcribe, what happens is I convert my audio into text, but still that text is passed for correctness. Or let's say only the essential words are then passed as a prompt. So what is this prompt? whatever I'm speaking in my natural English, Hindi, Marathi. So amazing thing is Whisper has support for multiple languages, multilingual support. So you may experiment one of your own later. So then this prompt from ChatGPT is passed on to your DALL-E, which then converts it into the respective digital art image. Okay, so this has amazing potential in fields like design, advertising. You can use it for faster and more efficient creation of visual content and creatives all around for quick development of visual graphics. You see that more the visuals are, the better we get response these days on all platforms. So I am showcasing you the quick prompt, the same prompt that I had given earlier. Give me this image of a dog on the moon listening to music in high resolution. I exactly gave the same natural language prompt, and you saw the other art that was created, and this is what that got created earlier. So that is what you can try this prompt on your own if you would like, just now, if the kit is already set up for you. And this is another interesting one where I tried to tinker a little bit with my prompt and just maybe simplify it. I tried to just say, give me an image of a dog listening to music. So, but then I won't get the same dog image, or I won't get that same headphone, exactly the same image. So that uniqueness is what is really amazing. So you get original content every time you are creating with this amazing tool. So first we will use Whisper, which is a general purpose speech recognition model. If we understand, it is being actually again a model that has been trained on a huge amount of audio and diverse amount of languages. It has great support for different languages, and that's how you can do speech translation, language identification with the help of this model. This is an OpenAI model and has been pretty popular post the ChatGPT introduction that happened in November 2022. So ChatGPT, if we talk about that, so this language model, for all of you who are first time hearing about ChatGPT, it's a large language model. So that means that it has been trained on billions and millions of data sets and a lot of internet data. So that lot of internet data, if we talk about, has actually influenced the way the response is being generated. So not only data is important, but the algorithm that runs behind this. So it again runs on two neural networks competing on a proximal policy optimization. So we won't go a lot into the details of that. This GPT has the largest learning parameters, 175 billion. So when it was introduced, it was the world's largest language model that was, that holds the maximum number of learning parameters ever. So that's how it's amazingly powerful, amazingly powerful. So coming to our third amazing model with which the image generation is actually happening. So what we are doing here, we provide text descriptions. So you can, it actually accepts text descriptions. So what we have added to it is audio. So you just give an audio. That audio is that converted into your text, natural language descriptions or prompts from that voice input. And then using your multi-model implementation of the GPT-3 itself, the first model of this image generation for was the DALL-E. Okay, the first one was DALL-E, which had nearly some 12 billion parameters, which used to swap text for pixels. So you know that we are not getting responses in terms of text but pixels. So that swapping happened with DALL-E, and then further, as we as the innovation happened and more improvement happened, the switch took over to 3.3 million text image pairs. And the DALL-E 2 uses very minimal parameters, not even less than half, 3.5 billion parameters to do all the processing. So I hope by now you would be able to, set up your kit. It should be able to, now we should be able to actually try these very interesting prompts onto our solution. So for that, let's get back to our setup screen. So this is where you should be by now. Okay, it should have been here. All the checkup, all the setup as well as all the requirements should have been checked onto your system. You just have to say yes and enter. And this will open the Jupyter notebook for me. So let me open the Jupyter notebook. So this Jupyter notebook should open for all of you. So as of now, you would see, as you will have your Jupyter notebook open, this key won't be present, okay? You won't have this OpenAI API key present for you guys. So for that, just get to this kit page that we were last on. On the kit page, you would see, and in the deployment information, you have an option to get your OpenAI API keys. Why are we requiring these keys? We are basically accessing your ChatGPT from the OpenAI's API. And that's how we are able to quickly deploy this interesting application. So let's understand how you all can fetch your own keys and quickly use this model into your systems. Okay, I hope you are ready with the Jupyter notebook by now. And we go into the under the deployment information. Just follow this first link alongside. So this is when you already have your OpenAI account. Okay, so when I click on this, since I am already logged in, I am able to get to my API keys. Supposedly, since couple of you are, maybe you may not have used ChatGPT till date. So then follow alongside this second link. Click here and go ahead and log in or sign up on the ChatGPT platform. You just have to put in your email and all of those details and create your account. And then you will be able to go back, click on this OpenAI API keys, go into personal, click on view API keys. This will showcase, if you have not generated any key till date, this place will be completely empty. I have generated one through which I showcased you the demo as well. So I will just generate a fresh key for you. So very important thing to note before I generate the key, keep this key copied, pasted into a private space, into a document that you can keep securely. Do not share this key with others. The reason is that if anyone else is using it for content that is not responsive enough and trying to interact with the ChatGPT, get some unusual responses, or let's say some content that may result in your account getting blocked. Okay, so it is very important that you don't even share it or don't make stupid queries or unusual queries that may result in your account getting blocked or completely stopped. So just go ahead, say create new secret key, give it a name, my test key, or whatever you feel is good enough, and then copy paste this into a space where you can keep it securely, right? So that is how I will just copy paste this key and paste it here. Okay, just paste it within this space. And as you have pasted it within this space, you just say restart and run all. Okay, just restart the kernel so that the code is able to fetch the API for you to use it into your code. So let's understand step by step what is happening in the code. First of all, we have imported all the essential libraries. And what we have done to import these essential libraries is we have used Gradio so that you are able to see this entire interface. Okay, the Summit box, clear box, the place where we are capturing the audio and then putting it through this speech to text, and this exact place where we are showcasing the generated image. So for interfacing, we are using Gradio. Then we are using OpenAI for actually utilizing the different APIs that we are using in today's solution source development. Then you are also using OS. This library, as we are capturing the audio, we are converting it into a wave format. So I'll come to that later. Then just to avoid and ignore the warnings, we have imported the warnings. And this part is your account-based key. So fetch your own keys and paste them here. Okay. Next is, there are three functions here, three methods here primarily, or let's say three API calls that are happening. One is a chat GPT call, then there is a delay E2 prompt, and then there is speech to text transcription function. So we will start with the speech to text transcription, or the first API that would be called, or the first method that would run. So what is happening in this, we have that whisper_transcribe. Through this audio, we are capturing the audio of the person, whoever is, giving the instruction. And that audio is then converted into a .wave format. Okay. So we are just renaming that file and converting it into a .wave format. And then we are opening this, reading this file and saving it into a audio_ file. After having the file properly read, we then transcribe this audio using the Whisper1 model. Okay. So there are multiple models that are available. We are using the Whisper1, and then this audio file is being transcribed. So that transcribed text is then passed through your ChatGPT API. So your transcribed text is then passed through your ChatGPT API, which is then saved into the delay prompt. So why am I passing it, whatever text, the transcription that has happened for my audio? Why do I need to pass it through this ChatGPT API? So that I get a summarized, appropriate form that I can pass into that becomes my delay prompt. That becomes information that I pass through my delay API. So then this delay prompt gets into your delay API, and through that, you are actually generating an image URL. So from this method, you are basically returning the transcribed text. That is one thing. And your image URL, the exact image as the second output. So now let's move to the second method, which is your ChatGPT delay prompt. Here what we are doing, it gets an input text. Okay, whatever was the transcribed text that is being passed here. So there is a way in which this API works. So this message is basically consisting of two essential parameters. One is your role, another is your content. Okay, so your role is basically say that you just define your your model, your assistant, your chatbot. You call it system, you call it user, you call it, and there's a third name as well. So that is all fixed by OpenAI. Okay, so let's say I call it my system. I'm giving an instruction to my model, and what instruction I want to say, or what kind of a behavior I want to set for my model. I'm saying that you are a helpful assistant. I'm instructing it in the content here itself. But as OpenAI have mentioned on their platform, that while we assign this another, again we assign, once the input text is there, the message is being appended. So for all those who are following from the last session, there was an interesting thing I talked about ChatGPT, where I said that it is able to retain history. The most powerful thing of this AI model is, up till now, we didn't have models which were able to retain history, which were able to keep our conversation. Just like humans, we know what was the past experience of communicating with someone, correct? So now, same to same, our model is able to keep the context of the conversation or whatever we had just talked to it about. And how does it happen? We just say messages.append, right? And then we go into we again mention the role as user, and here we say what the model has to do for us. We are saying summarize this text, okay, into a short and concise prompt for delay 2, right? So that is what we are telling it to format. Whatever has been given to it in the input text, You format it, you summarize it in a way that I can use it. Okay. Next step is your completion of the chat. Okay. So OpenAI.chat completion.create is where I'm mentioning the model. So there is DaVinci model, which we had used last time. This time we are using the GPT 3.5 Turbo. So all of these models have different temperatures, behaviors, little variation as to how how they would perform a certain task. DaVinci is the most intelligent one. But for just summarization, we are using the GPT 3.5 Turbo. And then your messages are then passed to this another parameter here. When we create this reply, we have the chat completion.choices. Okay. So here is where you return the summarized response. You save it in reply, and then that is what is being returned from this particular method. Okay. So I hope we are able to get through these two methods. And now we come to the third method, which is your delay to image generation. I have my prompt. Okay. This is where I want my message for the delay to convert into image. So I would say OpenAI.image.create. This is an inbuilt method. And within that, I will pass my prompt into the prompt variable. And you can mention the size of the image. So you can also change it to 1024 if you would like. Okay. As of now, we've just set it to 512. And then you get the image URL here. And that is what is being returned from this prompt. So when we come now lastly to the interface, the designing part. So you set a text box for this speech to text. Okay, this text box. You have your delay to image. So here is where your image gets generated. This is the text which is showcased here. Then you have your whisper.transcribe, and that is used for the speech interfacing. Then you have your inputs from your microphone, which is being captured through a file path and saved into inputs. Output is where you are receiving the two outputs. So there are two outputs, okay? One is this text prompt, okay? And another is this image that is being generated. So these are your two outputs. And this is simply the title. This is simply the title, generate images using voice. If you would like, you can also push this to a new space here, okay? And now let's quickly do an interesting demo of how powerful this model can work, okay? So I will try to give you an interesting prompt, or I will just record an interesting prompt and see what kind of image is generated. So I would say, a young girl with striking rainbow eyes staring at the camera with a deep red scarf in high definition. So we've just submitted this response, and we want to see, based on the more detailing that we have given in this prompt, what kind of image would this model generate for us. Oh my God, this looks a bit, interesting. And yeah, the eyes are striking. It has that red scarf thing that was mentioned. Okay. And let me also showcase, you can say save image as, and within the save image, you can just say image one and just give the extension as PNG and save it at a suitable place that you would like. So you can reuse these images. You can also, save images through this model. Let me showcase you something in a different, form. Let me showcase another prompt. Okay. Let's try an interesting another prompt. A charming hedge maze dotted by rose bushes and intricately designed lamppost, a form of a digital art, which is trending on ArtStation. So, the interesting thing about these generative AI models is how you provide your prompt. The more interesting, detailed your prompt is, the better you're able to get responses from it. Okay. So that is what is very essential. Oh, look at this. So yeah, I guess it looks pretty interesting. Yes. And yeah, you can go ahead and save the image as well and try the same prompt if you would like. Okay. I will showcase another last interesting example to all of you. give me an image of a pink ape astronaut in space building a claymate in a photorealistic style digital art form. Okay, so something more imaginative. Let's see what our model gives us. And you know this, oh my God, there's this ape. This is some clay. It's a pink ape form. It's astronaut. So yeah, and even you try the same prompt even multiple times, you will get different images. So yeah, I believe this is interesting and amazing as well at the same time. So one quick input that I would like to give you is that, you know, as you see the outcome, there would be some times that you may want to do something realistic with a real person. So for this Del-A2 model, you may get, the model may stop you from doing that. So the permissions for the same, responsibly using AI, is something we will discuss in the coming session on the next Thursday. I mean, on the next Thursday. Yeah, on the coming week, next Thursday, we have a session on how these generative AI models should be used responsibly. So I hope this was an interesting outlook that you had from the voice to image generation model. We will now quickly look forward to some interesting questions from you all.
Thank you so much, Pooja. That was lovely, especially the prompts that you used and the images that were generated. Very interesting application. Thank you again for sharing that and the entire working and the source code with us. So for everyone who's participating, as Pooja mentioned, we have this kit on the resource page. We have provided the link in the chat. Please click on the link, go to the community page, and you will be able to see a quick 10-minute video that showcases exactly what the session was. An abridged version of today's demo is there in that 10-minute video. You can also then download the kit, use it, try these nice, interesting prompts, and see the results of it. And also register for the next webinar, which is going to be on deepfake, which is also going to be very interesting. So please do go ahead and register for the next webinar as well. You can find the link right there. Once you attend these sessions once you attend it, you will receive a participation certificate. But if you go ahead and take the quiz as well, then you will receive your achievement certificate with a verified badge. So that is an input for all of you. We also have some very interesting pathways and courses on the FSP FutureSkills Prime course page. I think we have just shared the link to those on chat. So do go try them out, check them out, get certified, because this is an evolving field, something that everybody is looking forward to, something that everybody is trying to catch up with. So it's a good area to get certified in, and what better than a FutureSkills Prime Nasscom certificate, right? So go ahead, check them out and do get certified. Now let's take some questions. Please keep sending your questions via the webinar, and we will take as many as possible and respond to the others after the session. So Pooja, I'll go ahead and
I'll take up one question. So there is one question that I think there is a question on demo of each model. So Vijay has asked it. So Vijay, basically, you saw that we tried to capture the audio. So that was the demo of your Whisper model. The chat GPT, the text prompt that was generated from the audio and showcased in the next text box was the chat GPT demo. And then the third model, these are three different models. If I just want to clear it up, the Del-A is what was helping us generate the image. So it is built using all these three models. So that is, I hope if you are able to follow through, we showcased how we are using all three models, and then we are reaching to our outcome. And then there is one more question.
While you take that up, I think there are a couple of people who are asking about the certification process repeatedly. So just to repeat that, there is a link in the chat, which is called the resource page. I will put up the link again right now in chat for everybody. It's called, that's the webinar resource page, which is
share my screen to showcase it, Smita, as you talk.
When you click on that resource page, you will go to this page that Pooja is just showing you all, which is where after the session, we will be putting up the recording of this session as well. So here, right here, you will find the recording of this entire 1 hour webinar. And you will also have an opportunity to scroll down, use the exact same kit that Pooja showcased and see the outcomes of it. Then you can take a quiz, and after you completed the quiz, you will receive your achievement certificate and a badge in the next week. So please complete this process and you will receive your certificate and badge. I hope that was helpful to everybody. Now let's get back to a question that Pooja, if you have one that you've already chosen, please go ahead.
Okay.
So I think somebody would like, go ahead.
No, Shweta, if there's another one.
So someone's asking, what is the number of parameters? Is it equivalent to the features on machine learning models?
So yes, Anand, it is the features on the machine learning models. Yeah, that's the simple answer to it.
Okay, superb. And then you had another question you were looking at.
It was the same question I was about to read. Anand had asked.
Yeah. Understand.
And then there is one more where can you please help? Okay, so this is regarding the links as well. Casual conversation is also part of it. So specifically, Mohit, if you say casual conversation with the ChatGPT, you can have casual conversations. You can actually ask it to act as a motivational coach. You can ask it to act as a friend. You can talk to it about anything that you would like. So yeah. And FTP resources for faculty. Yeah, I think Smita did mention about courses and pathways on the FSP platform, Bharti, which will act as your faculty development courses, which you can go ahead and take from the FSP platform. I think the link is shared with you in the chat.
Superb. Pooja, I have one question or a couple of questions that have come up on the OpenWeaver community as well, because that's where I think some of them are also looking at downloading this kit from. One of the questions that they have asked there is, what are some of the other image generation models in comparison to DALL-E?
Yes. So I think I did ask this question. Stable Diffusion Online is one such model. There is a model based on GAN. There is this Midjourney. I think Midjourney is something which has superpassed, like people are, one of the AI artists is actually, he won an award based on an AI image that he had created. I think I read that 2 days back. And so Midjourney is one you should try. Stable Diffusion Online is another one that you should try and work around with. Then there is GAN-based model that you should go ahead and try. There is Pixel RNN that you should go ahead and try. So there are multiple of these, depending on if you would say transformer based. So we already have our DALL-E, which is also a transformer based model.
Superb. Pooja, quickly moving on to the next question. Someone would like to know, can we train GPT models based on our company's data sets?
Okay, so I hope you are aware that there are, I think, 900 GBs of, when we say large language data sets, they're immensely huge. I mean, you can train a machine learning model with your company's data set. If your company is, I'm just saying it's huge enough to have these millions and billions and trillions of data, then sure, go ahead with it. But the amount of time, the GPU that you have to invest, the resources, you have to plan accordingly. Everything is possible, but then we have to look through the resources, availability of the data set. Yeah, that's it.
Superb. And I think this is an interesting question, which will lead to our next webinar. Are there any other areas of generative AI that you find particularly interesting or promising? I think we were talking about this, which is going to be the one that's coming up. Maybe you can talk a little bit about our third webinar and what we are going to do there, Pooja.
Absolutely. So I think this should make you head over and register for our third webinar for sure, which is on deepfake generation, where we are talking about. So these generative AI models have to be used responsibly. I kept focusing on don't give your API keys, don't share your API keys. I could have just placed the API keys for all of you to use, right, for a simple account. But we can't do it. The reason being, if anyone uses it, for some illegal purposes, for some impersonation of other person, creating an image. Let's say we have a session on deep fake. So this technology basically talks about impersonation, trying to be someone that we are not, or showcasing a person's identity of, or trying to forge that identity by showcasing that they are behaving in a certain unusual manner. Okay, so we'll be showcasing an example of Mark Zuckerberg walking on the ramp, which he actually did not do. And that came into these, news articles that is it a fake or a real image? And then later they had showcased it that how using artificial intelligence, generative AI, now it is possible to generate fake images of these celebrities and try to diminish their images and all of that. So yeah, we are going to help you also work around a solution which is going to help you combat deep fake images, which is going to help you find out from images how you can state whether an image is real or fake. So that's going to be really interesting. Go ahead, join for our upcoming session next week, Thursday.
Absolutely. Please register, because that's a very interesting, I've seen the visual output of it, especially when we tried using, as Pooja mentioned, Mark Zuckerberg and Pope images that came up in the news. Very relevant as well in today's world, when all of us are moving so fast with generative AI. I think topics like responsibly using generative AI, we have to stop and pause and see, okay, are we using it to achieve something good in a good way and responsibly? So, okay, so quick next one. I have sorry, 1 second. How do these models handle variations in accent and pronunciations during voice input?
That's a very interesting question, actually, that supposedly, you speak in a certain way and the model is not generating your expected outcome. So mostly these large language models are trained on a huge, massive amount of data. So they will try to get as close as possible to whatever accent you speak in. But in case you find that the model is not able to give you the expected response, then you will have to retrain it, and with that specific accent that you may find it is not able to recognize. However, with the kind of potential that they have, they would be able to capture most of the accents and the pronunciations that you make with the Whisper model as an overall.
Superb.
Yeah.
Great. I think we have time for possibly 2 more questions. Rajiv would like to know if you can suggest a research topic for his PhD on ChatGPT using machine learning.
Rajiv, go ahead and look for a topic where you, within the PhD, that people are writing their thesis with ChatGPT, and the professors are no longer able to flag it, find the plagiarism content to it. Even Turnitin is not able to flag or say that this % of flag is there in the current thesis. So make it a use case, try to discriminate a content that is generated with, just like we are saying about deep fake, where we are discriminating an image as fake image or a real image, which is a AI generated image. Try to find or try to research on something where you're able to state that this text that has been generated is an AI generated image and not a human. I mean, that is that's going to be a tough one. But since you asked based on ChatGPT, I think that is one of the requirements that, especially in academia, people are talking a lot about. So.
Superb. And then we have another one from Pushpita, who would like to know how the words or the texts map to accurate images.
So this is, again, if you ask me about what OpenAI is disclosing, they have not disclosed a lot. If you go on their platform, they have said that they are doing this PPO optimization. This works on the reward model, zero shot. These are some terms that they have put in. But I would say there is nothing like exactly the accurate images. We would say it tries to get as close as possible, just like your chat GPT. It will never question you back. Okay. It will, this is one of the shortcomings of the model as well. It will never say that, clear this particular aspect of my confusion. I would like you to rephrase your question. No, it will keep trying to get to, it'll keep giving you an answer. Similarly, when we are saying the text to accurate image generation, yes, Dell A2 with the 3.5 billion parameters reduced, the number of features being minimized, the accuracy is pretty much really good. But with some use cases or some prompts that you may try, you may not even have exactly the results that are expected. So if you want to go a little deep dive into it, go OpenAI's website. When you scroll down, you will see that there's not much that has been disclosed by them about the detailing of the algorithm and the exact data set that they have used. They say they picked it up from the internet, from human feedback.
Nice. Pooja, Nilesh has a question. Can we give command in other languages as well? How many languages can ChatGPT understand? I think now we are slowly moving towards ChatGPT kind of questions.
So then they have mentioned that it has support for multiple such languages. I don't remember the exact number, but then it's said even in Marathi and Hindi and many such languages, but then that has to be specifically launched. You have to go for the paid version of ChatGPT. Also, another interesting, since you've asked this question, there is scope for improvement on the number of languages, multilingual support that this model can have. That is also mentioned as an extension on the OpenAI's platform. They have opened the API. You can create your own extension that could help you support your particular language.
Superb. Pooja, we had a question on if we can show them. I think some of them joined us late and they'd like to know if we can share the source code with them. Can you show them how they can access the source code maybe?
Source code. Okay. Yeah. So,
for this model.
Sure. So please find the link to this page that should be shared with you in the chat. So as you click on the link, this page is specifically designed for this webinar series. Okay, so you will have this page. Go ahead, scroll down. Under the hands-on learning section, you will have your Candy one-click kit. Okay, this is our solution source. Okay, this is where we have created it in the form of a complete kit. You don't have to, download each and every dependency. Just click on this. This will take you to this kit page. Click on the one-click installer. Simply, if you are setting it up on Windows. For other operating systems, do scroll down. Click here, download the repository, extract it, and follow the same instructions that I am now showcasing. Okay, so this is my kit installer, which is a zip file. I'll just say show in folder. I'll have to just reshare my entire screen. We will extract all the contents of this folder. When you have your kit installer, double click it, you will find a batch file. Double click this batch file. So this batch file holds all the requirements, dependencies, so that it can set onto your systems. Say more info, run anyway.
Superb.
This will start setting up. So currently I have one process already running. That is why it is asking me, would you like to run this another process? So yeah, thank you.
So Pooja, if you can just show them also how the chat, they would also like to know if the ChatGPT has a demo. I think if you scroll down the same page, you can see the first webinar, which is the ChatGPT webinar. Okay. And you can follow the exact same process.
Yeah, sure. I
think Vijay was wanting to know if there is a similar demo for the ChatGPT.
Yes. The last session that we did. If you go down, this was our previous session on your ChatGPT. This is our kit for that same session. So you can go ahead, click on this second link for ChatGPT, and then you will have to follow the same steps. Click on the one-click installer, unzip the file, double-click the batch file, say more info, and start setting it up onto your systems.
Okay, lovely. And then I think we have time just for one last question, which is nice, which is a career-related question. Someone would like to know what kind of skills or trainings are typically required to pursue a career in this, and what are some of the career opportunities that exist in the field of generative AI?
So I think Krishna has asked that question. So I think it's a very essential question that actually is the talk of the town today. How we can build a career in generative AI, what skills are required. So one thing is, as humans, we have our cognitive abilities and the analytical skills. So apart from that, you need to have a background on the different programming languages. Let's say just one. You can have your background on Python programming to the minimal, and then you can slowly build your understanding of data analysis and machine learning. So that has to be a base before you say that, okay, I am now, a data analyst and I'm able to create such interesting models in generative AI. Or if you are looking for a non-tech career option with using generative AI, then you just need to understand how efficiently you are able to utilize these models and platforms. Let's say, nowadays this term is being used called prompt engineering. If you Google a lot, you would see that prompt engineering has come up as a new domain where all the marketing individuals, people who are working in the non-tech field, they just need to understand what sort of instruction you need to give to these models. If you're able to give the right instruction, if you say it's just English language, no, but then to be able to get the right output fetched from it. What happens when you keep giving the model the same input? So the model somehow will start giving you weird responses. If you give the model the same input 3 times, so then the model would be expecting, that by now it has been able to answer to your question. So there are a couple of limitations to it. And if we talk about career options, there is careers in data science as data scientist. You have a software developer as one of the interesting careers in generative AI. You can build such interesting models, but you need to have knowledge and skills in Python programming languages as well as machine learning and AI. We do have some kits on the basics of Python. So those are kits that you can follow through, but you may need a little deeper dive on the entire section, for which you can also have courses from FSP. You can experiment all the virtual labs that are available on the FSP platform. We have very interesting ML applications, similar use cases in machine learning on both the FSP platform and as well as the community platform where you are viewing our session today. I can't hear you, Shmita.
Yeah, superb. I was on mute, sorry. I think we are exactly at 4:30, and respecting everybody's time, we would probably have to end the session now. But just 2 very quick things before we end the session. First thing, please go to our page. Some of you are not able to click on the link that we have put on the chat. If you're not able to click the link, you can go to community.openweaver.com, and under live events and sessions, you will find this generative AI webinar series. I am going to repeat that, community.openweaver.com, and you will find this. You will also receive a follow-up email, not to worry. If you had registered for this webinar, you will receive a follow-up email with the resource page, with all the information about the certificates and how you can complete the quiz. So you do not have to worry if you are not able to click on this link. That's the first thing. Secondly, please go ahead. When you hit that page, you will find a register for the 3rd webinar. You can also register through FSP. Just go ahead and register for the last webinar, which is going to be Mastering Generative AI webinar. And we're going to build a very interesting application, which is deepfake detection. So please go ahead and register for that. And if you have any questions, feel free to share it with us either on the OpenWeaver community or on FSP, and we will be able to get back to you. So thank you very much to everyone for joining this session. It's been lovely interacting with you. I know we're not able to see each other's faces, but it's been great to see the kind of questions that has come. Just the number, we received about 97 questions. So that is lovely. And we look forward to seeing you all again next week. Same Thursday next week at 3:30 p.m. Thank you and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.